मैं जवाब दे सकता पर नहीं देता।
ओके, पखरवाम साहब प्लीज रेजोल्यूशन पढ़ ले प्लीज।
जी जनाब स्पीकर साहब,
जी प्लीज तशरीफ जी, बात रेजोल्यूशन जी।
मेरा ख्याल में जी ये आज एक तान है कि कायद आज़म मोहम्मद अली जिन्ना साहब की सोच ये है।
आप प्लीज आप चुप कर ले प्लीज। आप प्लीज चुप कर लेना जी प्लीज।
I hereby move, Mr. Speaker, that the joint session of the Parliament unanimously condemns the illegal, unilateral, reckless and coercive attempt by India to alter the disputed status of Indian-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, as enshrined in the United Nations Security Council resolutions, as well as the regressive measures to change Jammu and Kashmir's demographic structure through repeal and revocation of Article 35A of the Indian Constitution by the Indian government, and the recent surge in unprovoked firing and shelling on unarmed civilian population across the line of control, and the use of cluster bombs by the Indian occupation forces in Azad Kashmir and Azad Jammu and Kashmir. Deployment of additional troops in Indian-occupied Jammu and Kashmir and other recent developments. It should have been occupied Jammu and Kashmir. Stresses that Jammu and Kashmir is an internationally recognized dispute on the agenda of the United Nations Security Council, and categorically states that these illegal Indian steps do not and cannot alter the disputed status, that's the key word, disputed status of Jammu and Kashmir. Opposes Indian plans to alter the demographic composition of Indian-occupied Kashmir, as well as take away protected, inherent and established rights of the people of Jammu and Kashmir to citizenship, permanent residence, acquisition of property, employment and education as provided under the repealed Article 35A of the Indian Constitution, in contravention of the UN Security Council resolutions on the Jammu and Kashmir dispute and international humanitarian law. States that forcible transfer of population and demographic changes in the occupied territory constitutes war crimes, ethnic cleansing and genocide under the 4th Geneva Convention. Stresses that irresponsible and aggressive actions by India pose a grave threat to the peace and security in South Asia. Reaffirms and upholds the inalienable right to self-determination of the people of Jammu and Kashmir as enshrined in the UN Security Council resolutions and as protected by international law. Underlines that there are 3 parties in the Jammu and Kashmir dispute: Pakistan, India, and the people of Jammu and Kashmir, and that the people of Jammu and Kashmir have yet to exercise their free will through a democratic process to determine their political future as mandated by these UN Security Council resolutions. Recalls that the relevant UNSC resolutions clearly state that the final disposition of the Jammu and Kashmir dispute will be made in accordance with the will of the people expressed through the democratic method of a free and impartial plebiscite under the auspices of the United Nations. Emphasizes that the enforcement and legitimacy of the resolutions of the UNSC can never be diluted by unilateral actions. Expresses grave concern over the massive clampdown in Indian-occupied Kashmir through additional deployment of 180,000 troops in recent months, which is already the most militarized zone in the world. Condemns the imposition of curfew in IOK, arrest of Kashmiri leaders, and suspension of communication services, including internet and mobiles. Further condemns the intensified ceasefire violations by the Indian Army and use of cluster ammunition targeting innocent civilians, including children, along the LOC working boundary. For once, the international community about any false flag operations to malign Pakistan using the false pretext of terrorism asserts that the people and armed forces of Pakistan remain vigilant and prepared to respond firmly to any misadventure by India across the LOC working boundary, condemns the gross and systematic violations of human rights by India and IOK as independently and comprehensively documented in two separate reports issued by the United Nations in June 2018 and July 2019, reaffirms Pakistan's political, diplomatic and moral support to the people of India, occupied Kashmir and Jammu for the realization of the legitimate right to self-determination, declares that the people of Pakistan will always stand shoulder to shoulder with the people of Indian-occupied Jammu and Kashmir in their valiant struggle against Indian oppression, demands India to stop brutalization of the people of IOK through killings, torture, arbitrary arrests, enforced disappearances, mass blinding by pellet guns, and use of rape as an instrument of war. Demands India to lift its information blockade and communications blackout in IOK, end its prolonged curfew regime, stop its ruthless cordon and search operations, immediately release the Kashmiri leadership, and restore civil liberties and fundamental freedoms of the people of Jammu and Kashmir. Demands that India honor its commitment to the Security Council, the Kashmiris and the international community. Calls upon the UN Security Council to take cognizance of the killings and massacres in IOK that pose a serious threat to peace and security in the region. Urges the Human Rights Council to constitute a commission of inquiry to investigate gross and consistent human rights violations in IOK being committed by the occupation forces with impunity under the cover of the two draconian laws, the Armed Forces and Special Powers Act and the Public Safety Act, as recommended by the two reports of the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights. Calls upon the Organization of the Islamic Cooperation to work with the United Nations for an end to repression IOK and a lasting resolution of the Jammu and Kashmir dispute as per the UN Security Council resolutions and wishes of the Kashmiri people. Urges the Inter-Parliamentary Union, the IPU and world parliaments to take note of the Indian Parliament's role in the facilitation of unlawful actions in IOK. Reiterates the strong conviction of Pakistan that the Jammu and Kashmir dispute be resolved only through dialogue and diplomacy and in accordance with international law, and asks India to discard the perilous path of military coercion, warmongering, state terrorism and brute force in the occupied territory. Calls upon the international community to urge India to refrain from undertaking any irresponsible unilateral actions which interfere with the demography of IOK and work with Pakistan to achieve a just solution of the Jammu and Kashmir dispute as per the United Nations Security Council resolutions. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Now I put the resolution House. The question is that the resolution as moved be adopted. All those in favor of the resolution may say aye. Aye. All those against it say no. I think ayes have it, and consequently the resolution is adopted unanimously. President, Islamic Republic, order. In exercise of the power conferred by Clause 1 of Article 54 of the Constitution of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, I hereby prorogue the Majlis Shura Parliament in joint session, then sitting summoned on Tuesday, the 6th August 2019, on the conclusion of its business. Dr. Arif Alvi, President.
کشمیر پر بھارتی فیصلے کو مسترد کرنے کی قرارداد متفقہ طور پر منظور کر لی گئی ہے۔ مقبوضہ کشمیر پر بھارتی فیصلے کو مسترد کرنے کی قرارداد پیش کی گئی، جسے متفقہ طور پر منظور کر لیا گیا ہے۔ بھارت کے یک طرفہ فیصلے کی مذمت اور مسترد کرنے کی قرارداد پارلیمنٹ کے مشترکہ اجلاس میں پیش کی گئی۔ سید فخر امام نے یہ قرارداد پڑھ کر سنائی۔ انہوں نے گفتگو کرتے ہوئے کہا کہ آج ایک تاریخی دن ہے اور قرارداد میں انڈیا کے غیر آئینی اقدام کی مذمت کی گئی ہے۔ اس کے علاوہ پاکستان کی سول آبادی کو نشانہ بنانے اور کلسٹر بموں کے استعمال کی بھی مذمت کی گئی ہے، اور یہ بھی متن ہے اس قرارداد کا کہ جموں کشمیر اقوام متحدہ میں ایک تسلیم شدہ متنازع علاقہ ہے۔ تمام ارکان کی جانب سے ڈیسک بجا کر تائید کی گئی اور قرارداد کو متفقہ طور پر منظور کر لیا گیا۔ پارلیمنٹ کا آج مشترکہ اجلاس دوسرے روز بھی جاری رہا۔ مقبوضہ کشمیر پر بھارتی فیصلے کو مسترد کرنے کی قرارداد متفقہ طور پر منظور کر لی گئی ہے۔